Hey guys, Toolman Tim here. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. It's Wednesday morning, which means it's time for another edition of Tool Time Gear Review. And this week, I've got the Dewalt Tough Series tape measure. When Dewalt first announced the Tough Series line of tools this summer, I was rather excited. And I couldn't wait to run it head-to-head with the tape measure I normally use. So this week I want to let you know whether the Dewalt Tough Series is going to replace my Stanley Fatmax in my everyday toolbox. Alright guys, real quick before we dive in, if you want to know more about who I am, run by toolmantim.co. That's toolmantim.co. You'll find the monthly newsletter, information on my regular podcast, and the most important section, the shop, where I've got way over 100 products that I've used in my handyman business that have either made me money or saved me money. A ton of Amazon recommendations there that if you pick any of those up, I'll end up getting a little bit of support, guys, from that, and it is hugely appreciated. So thank you very much. So here we are. This is the one I wanted to show you. Let's put this. So here is the 35. Now, to be fair, I just want to clarify, this is a 35-foot tape measure. This Stanley Fatmax is a 30-foot. Put them side by side. So this is as close as I could get apples to apples for comparison, because I don't like a 25-footer. I like something a little bit longer. They didn't have a 30-footer, so I picked up the 35. So all the comparisons are as close as they're going to be, but I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on it. So what makes, first off, let's deal with the Dewalt Tough Series. What makes this thing tough? Well, there's a few things. However, let's talk about the features that it comes with. First is this rubberized case. Love it. It is built like a shit brick house. It supposedly will survive a 100-foot fall. I'm on the prairies. It's hard to find a 100-foot anything to throw anything off of. So instead, I threw it across my cement driveway here. So you'll get to see that later on. And this is the after effects. Not even barely a scuff on it. I certainly would not want to do that with this Stanley Fatmax, but that's for later on. Now, what else do we have? We've got a 6-inch blade coating protection. The entire blade is covered with a 3M coating for long life durability. However, the first 6 inches have that extra coating on the top, just because that's where you're always doing most of your measurements, just to give it a little extra life. Now, another cool feature, numbers on both sides. So they claim you can measure from any different angle, be able to read your tape measure from any different angle, which I kind of like that as well. So two other features, they claim you're supposed to be able to measure up to 17 feet without another helper, without any assistance, and they claim a 13-foot standout by itself. We're going to put that to the test as well. And one other thing I wanted to show you was this nice little magnet that they put on the end. However, the magnet's removable, which I guess is a bonus, but I lost it. So that is definitely one of the drawbacks. I'm going to talk about a couple of the negatives with this. Neither are a big deal at all. I don't use a magnet, so you might want to make it, it did hold on really well, and then I set it aside here in my shop, and it just sprouted legs and went off. So the fact that the magnet's not permanently attached to the end of the tape measure, that's a bit of a negative. But I got to say, I really do love this tape measure. Back when I worked at the hardware store, when Stanley came out with their Fatmax tape measures, I figured it was like 8-year-old me when I first saw a fax machine, and I told my dad, there's no way it'll ever get any better than this. Well, I guess I was wrong on that. And I think, to be honest, I was absolutely wrong on the Stanley Fatmax as well. Now, I've used this for a long time. When I picked up this tape measure, this thing felt like a tank in my hand. I loved it. I love it. It always felt good. It always felt like it would work, it would hold up really well, it felt like a beast. But you know, after using this guy, the Tough Series tape measure I've been using it for about a month now, this kind of feels a bit like a toy. I would never take this tape measure and throw it across my cement driveway. I don't think it would hold up. It might not, but I can certainly tell you that it wouldn't have held up as well as this guy did when I threw him across the driveway. I threw it hard. I let it bounce a good solid 20-25 feet all the way down and across, and without a little scuff in the rubber, but that was it. I like this. I've always used it. I'm going to keep it as my backup in my truck for now, but to be absolutely honest, I have fallen in love with this really quick. Now, I'll do a comparison here to show you why I like this a little bit better. I normally take the belt clips off my tape measures because I don't clip them to a belt ever. They usually go in a pocket or in my toolbox. I haven't yet taken that off, but the belt clip is the exact same size on both. So, like I said, 30-footer Fatmax, 35-foot Dewalt. So the comparisons, I'll try to scale them so that you know what the difference is there. Now, as far as weight goes, and I did this in those fake metric Canadian units, not the Freedom units, simply because it's easier to figure out percentages with grams. 615 grams Stanley, 761 grams for the Dewalt. So, like an even comparison, it's 20% heavier. Now, if you adjust for the extra 5 feet of tape measure, it's really only about 5% heavier. So I like that. Now, unaided standout. With the Stanley, I'm able to get 10.5 feet. With the Dewalt, I'm able to get 12. They advertise 13. You're never able to get what they advertise. With the Stanley, they advertise 11. I get 10.5. With the Dewalt, they advertise 13, and I get 12 with it. So I get an extra 1.5 foot easily standout. So you get an extra 1.5 foot of outstanding without even trying. I like that. Now, there is 3 inches of the durable coating on the end without an extra coating on the entire tape. This one has 6 inches, to show you there, 6 inches with the tape, and the entire tape is coated. Now, something else, of course, that you'll notice, no numbers on the back with the Stanley, numbers on the back with the Dewalt. I like that. And the only other real, one more comparison here, 3¼ inches to 3.5 inches. As far as the thickness, the height, there's not much difference. The only difference is 1/2 inch from front to back. I'll show you in my hands here. I got these big beefy gorilla paws, but that's that one in my hand. That's that one in my hand. A little bit bigger, but you know, if you have small hands, you probably want to stick with, say, a 25-footer, but this really, really fits well. I love the lock. You have to have it out in order to lock the tape measure. Right from day one with this Stanley, I've had troubles with the locks. They always seem to not work really well. As far as the retraction goes, still holds up really good. Now, what are the complaints about this Dewalt? Well, first off, they're really minor because it has now replaced my beautiful, beautiful, long-lasting Stanley Fatmax in my everyday carry toolbox. A couple little things, and this is neither here nor there. One of my minor complaints, a couple little things. I have 3 main criticisms of this. Number 1, the removable magnet drove me nuts. It would come off, it would come on, it would get stuck on things in my toolbox, so I set it aside, and then, of course, I ended up losing it. Number 2, one thing I found, to get the extra standout, there's quite an arc in that tape measure, if you can see that. And what I find is, when you're going out at an angle and trying to get it to sit just right, it can be kind of hard. That tape measure actually hides the numbers a little bit. Even though they advertise you can see it from any angle, at certain angles, the tape measure kind of gets in the way of the numbers. That's a bit of a pain. And then the length of the tape measure, not how long it is, but the exact length of it is just a bit of a pain in the butt. 3 3/4 inches. Now, why couldn't they make that 3.5 or 4 inches? Because when you're doing inside measurements, it's so much easier to either subtract or add 3.5 or 4 inches either way. To me, just something simple. It would save me just a little bit of time. Can I do the math with 3 3/4 inches? Absolutely I can. With this, it would have been easier if they'd have just made it a 1/4 inch longer and even 4 inches. I'd have been happy. Anyway, neither here nor there. Do I like this new tape measure? I love the new Dewalt Tough Series tape measure. I like this so much that I even picked up the new Dewalt Series hammer that you'll see in a couple of months because I misplaced my really nice East Wing hammer that I've had for 15 years now. So you're going to see a review on that. But I've been impressed so far with the Dewalt Tough Series, the different things they came out. Honestly, the tape measure and the hammer is what I'm interested in. They do have a screwdriver set as well. As of right now, they're not available on Amazon, just through Home Depot. And they're actually a little bit cheaper in Canada. $39.99 in Canada, $38.99 in the US. But when you adjust for Freedom dollars as opposed to Canadian dollars, it ends up being a little bit cheaper for us Canucks, which almost happens literally never. So I was kind of excited about that. But yeah, right now, Home Depot seems to be the place to get it. I'll put links in the description. If I can find anything on Amazon, I'll get them up there, and down the road when they do show up, I'll update this video and put the affiliate links in there for you guys. But beyond that, Absolutely. If you're looking for a new tape measure, yours is wearing out, or you just need to upgrade, give this Tough Series a shot. All right, guys, that's it for me this week. I always appreciate you coming by, hanging out in the workshop. And if you're new and you want to stick around, hit that subscribe button. We've got 5 pieces of content a week. We got Toolbox Tuesday, Tool Time Gear Review on Wednesday, and then we have 3 editions of the workshop, 2 live streams, Thursday and Sunday, part of the podcast, and then the weekend workshop, which is a project I'm working on, things like solar, food storage, different tools, water filters, the whole works. So if you want to stick around, hit the subscribe button. And guys, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.